So, hello, that's me, the Blue Beauty enclosure. Outdoors, we've had a really cold spell, really cold nights, down to 7.8 degrees. Today, the first hot day. I'm now going through a breeding cycle, outdoors, here in the UK. They've stopped now because they know I'm here. And annoyingly, I'm going in there to plant some plants at the back there, come what may. But you can see, the green one's the male, the bluer one's the girl. They're not locked together, but he's certainly going through the motions. Welcome back to the channel. I just want to give you a quick update to how the outdoor reptile and amphibian enclosure is doing. Might sneak in a couple of other things that are kind of undercover, but at outside temperatures. So let's just have a look at some of the recently added outdoor enclosures, look at their inhabitants, and really see how they've been doing in this sudden heat wave over 30 degrees Celsius. I'll talk you through it. Melanistic Aesculapian snakes showing itself. Oh, there's a viperine. There it goes. I have to weed this out quite regularly now. Just by hand, I just pull down a lot of the weeds and keep them low. But some of it does need probably a little bit more clearing out. But the snakes seem to like the cover. Still plenty of basking on their little mini hibernaculum sort of shelter area. Interesting to see the difference in behaviour because it's been sunny today since probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Aesculapian's out, he's going away. Modeler out when it's cold, just like any herper knows, cold and overcast with a glimmer of sunshine here and there. That brings them all out basking, hoping to catch any glimpse. Have a look at these. I know it's not European, but these guys are looking great. We've got some temperatures now. It's 24.5 degrees in there now. Blue beauties. They were actually, the males were trying to mate with this big girl yesterday. And look at him up there. Sorry about the reflection. So this is working really well. I planted some hedging at the back to hopefully cover that up. But these outdoor enclosures, European or even cool tropical species like Vietnamese blue beauty snakes. Have a look over here. Finally got the smooth snakes outside. There's one. True to form actually. Now they're outside and it's warmer, they've behaved exactly like you'd expect smooth snakes to behave. Yesterday, didn't see them until about 5:30 when the sun completely goes off of these enclosures. And then they were both out straight away. Well, everything was warm, but we were, in their mind, probably entering that twilight period. So they're going to get fed for the first time today. It's the first time they've been in there today. See how they behave. And these guys are going to have their chopped fish and small mice for the Aesculapians. Again, put in later on today. All in all, remember, this is all made from junk. Mate's old metal shed he didn't want. Old leaking fish tank from a friend, an old Exoterra from my snake room. So these guys have been out a few weeks now, and they went out and the temperatures plummeted to sort of 7 degrees at night. Cool, cloudy days, 13 degrees, no sunshine. Now the sun's out. It was at 32 in the shade in there yesterday, and they're out thriving, basking in the morning sun today. They had a good feed, everything in there scoffed its face. First time they've been fed in there 'cause it's been so cold. They all fed well yesterday, so very, very pleased how this is turning out, and to see the snakes doing really, really well. It'll be great if everything grows up in there and covers that background, but we'll see. Here they are, look, the blue beauty. As soon as the sun's down off the enclosure, 30 odd degrees today, but they're straight out. And to be honest, some of them have been out all day. It's reached 34 degrees in the shade in there. It's currently 31 in the shade. Out using the enclosure as intended. So here in the slow worm and common lizard and pool frog enclosure, it's already, that last night was the first hot night where it's been about 18 degrees. It's been averaging the last couple of weeks 13 in the day and 6-8 sort of degrees at night, centigrade, Celsius, not Fahrenheit. And this morning, absolutely enjoying the cool of the morning before the sun's on them. Some of the animals are out. Here's our dark slow worm, one that has managed to survive. Just a few in here where others got killed off by a predator, but see our other video about that. Look at that beautiful animal. So that animal's out taking advantage of the cooler shady weather before the sun strikes the outdoor enclosure. What they do want, really, like everything in the countryside right now, because despite the cold, it has actually been incredibly dry. Almost no rain for weeks, despite the cold, overcast weather. But this is well established. Lots of shade and deep hiding places. Very rarely, but I think I'm going to be topping up the pool. It actually very rarely happens. It usually sustains its own water. But nice to see a slow worm out on the prowl, on show for me to see. So here's just a couple of slow worms that live in here just recently, just so the public might get a glimpse of them really. The others are off display. There's one out this morning. Just a tiny sort of 2-foot vivarium. But again, until we get an open top enclosure built for these, important that people can see and appreciate these animals. I've had chopped trout today. I've just spooked a lot of them. The smallest one's over there. Another one there. Just see its tail. They're literally all scoffing their faces, and they're growing really fast out here. Smile. By the way, this is our recent sort of butterfly and bee area. I've only installed this spring. It's doing amazing really for such a quick amount of time. I'm just showing you this because I know you guys are going to be as interested in this sort of thing as I am. For sure, it's looking really well. Various ages of nettle patches, some cut down and so on to encourage butterflies. But look at this, if you haven't seen this before, Buckingham Palace. One of our gardeners did this off their own back. It's big. It's big, hang on. It's big. And absolutely been brilliant for jumping spiders, feasting on the parasitic wasps that have been parasitising the masonry bees that have filled up all of those tubes. It all goes together, doesn't it? If you love reptiles, I'm sure like me, you love it all. Quick, something you might like. Maybe not, maybe you just look at them as food. A little display for the public here of harvest mice. Really, really active most of the time. They're cap emerald, so they're on and off, day and night. Little rest periods, little running around periods. For most British mammals, that's quite good for public to see. Most stuff's really nocturnal. Great little display. Roxy the fox. Might interest some of you. These are our pure EU polecats. They're the wild ancestor of the ferret, often kept in a hutch. But here, they've got a huge palace to climb around in. And if you do have ferrets, guys, this kind of thing, you'll see a whole new difference to your ferrets that you keep in hutches. If you're lucky enough to have the room to build them something far more natural where they can get a lot of exercise. And look at them, savage as can be, real high level mustelid predator, but incredibly gorgeous. Something else you can keep outdoors. These are just in a barn, but captive bred sticklebacks, bred by myself. Really interesting fish. It's a toe tadpole there. Look at them, they're like little piranhas, they're hungry. Always hungry sticklebacks. But again, native stuff. Never mind your tropical fish. Sticklebacks are really interesting little things. And up here, if you haven't seen these before, the elvers. People say, what's in the freezer? Well, in the freezer, there's some dead leaves, some algae, but gradually clearing green water because the pond plants in there are starting to grow. In there, in a shady spot, is actually an axolotl. Axolotls do fantastically well outside in ponds. They'll breed under the ice in the UK. And I've had tropical fish shops say to me, have you got a heater? Have you got this? Have you got that? They don't even know. Axolotls are a cold water species from the mountains of Mexico. One lake system, and as you probably know, they're mostly pretty much on the way or extinct in the wild now. They're pretty much dwindling away. All to do with humans in the lake. Putting foreign fish in hasn't helped. But in the UK, if you've got a pond, you can breed and keep axolotls, no problem at all. And don't forget this, these barrels, animal feed barrels, lids cut out so the animals can't climb up the side, but you can see in. Got some newts in there. Got some baby newts in there. We've got toe tadpoles in here, although now the weather's warmed, I've thinned them out by 50%. Don't want to have oxygen starvation. And then we've got frog tadpoles in here, so people can see the difference. And they also breed lots of bloodworms and mosquito larvae and daphnia, which I net out and feed to my stickleback. So as you'd expect, anyone that goes wild herping this time in the morning, even in this hot weather, is when the snakes are out. They've probably been out since 4 or 5 o'clock this morning, since the sun came up. That's a little glimpse of some of the viperians. But once it's hot, that is the thing, you're not seeing so much of them. And you wouldn't expect it with some of these species. Not in 30-degree heat in the UK through glass. But again, another simple enclosure. Wooden frame mesh lid, screwed that down so people can't lift it up. Made of scrap. Doing a great job to rear those young viperians. Smooth snakes. Every hot sunny day. This is, remember, that's their first week in here. Every hot sunny day. They've not been out, but by about 4:30 when the shade falls onto here, they're out straight away. Once that shade's on there. Lots of places to hide. Natural, I planted some thyme. I know it's not the exact natural thyme and things, but it's trying to get a bit of ground cover, low cover, sort of dry area. Remember, if they go through that hole there, They go into a clay pipe as deep down as they can get, and I'm sure that's where they're hanging out during the heat of the day. Mesh lid, wooden frame lid, the old lid's been removed, and this is silicone down with black silicone. It's got a thicker steel 1/4 inch mesh, and underneath there another layer of zoo mesh, just to make sure there's no escapes, no one or nothing getting in there. A really simple design. Masonry bit, or rather a tile cutting drill bit. Drill the bottom, mesh, silicone blob and mesh over those holes, gravel over the top, weed membrane over the top, soil over that, so you've got good drainage. Water the plants, it can rain through the lid. Those animals aren't going to get swamped. Simple setups. Old Exoterra, old leaking aquarium, the bottom drilled exactly in the same way. In there, a good hibernaculum, but really it's actually for them to keep cool and hide away during the summer. They probably won't be kept in there over the winter. And again in there, mesh lid. All the rain and sun can come through, they can climb right up to the top and get the last bit of evening sun. Good hidey holes area down there, good bath area. Planting still growing, but it's coming along. And then a barrel at the back there, it's not a foot down, but nearly that kind of depth. A barrel covered over with coir husk in there, a little shady sanctuary should they need it. But it's working. So far in the UK, we've had 31, 32 this last week. It doesn't usually get hotter than that, but we'll see. Last year we touched 40 degrees. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed that surprisingly for me shorter video. Just a little catch up really on the outdoor enclosures, and always trying to inspire you guys to learn something new. I love learning new stuff and try something new and have a love for these animals. So check out the playlist, but for sure, from an old barrel full of tadpoles to that cattle trough drinker to the smooth snakes in there, outdoor Exoterra. The wave and the push to keep reptiles and amphibians outdoors is well deserved. I hope it's something that really gets a push on. Remember, this is using the sun's energy. It's electricity free. It can be very inexpensive to do, or in the case of my open top enclosures that I'm now building and have materials, it can be a little bit more expensive. But the amount of stuff you can recycle to make fantastic, really good for the animals outdoor enclosures, the world's your oyster. And above all, the biggest thing is you could almost always give them much bigger enclosures outdoors than indoors for most people, and you're using that sun's energy. Not only does it save you electricity, you are getting the correct UV balance for those animals and giving them the opportunity to use it or withdraw from it as natural as possible. You're almost, in some of these cases, just ring fencing a little piece of nature. Please subscribe guys, really helps the channel. Comment below, good or bad. Always up for a debate or a polite chat for sure. Stay tuned, see the next one. Enjoy this natural world and enjoy your animals.